Hello Enchanted ones, and welcome back. Today join me as I prepare for Imbolc and winter like how a little fairy prepares its winter's nest. Join me as I find magic in the mundane, make over my cozy nook and my new workspace, and let me share with you the simple ways I keep my practice alive during the winter months. I hope you enjoy. So sit back, relax, and step into the enchanted woods with me. The woods are still right now, and many trees are sleeping, preserving their energy through the winter months. But that doesn't stop me from venturing out. It may be cold and slightly boggy, but it only gets this little fairy more inspired than ever. Hello Enchanted ones, and Happy New Year! I hope you are well. I hope you've had a wonderful Yule, and I wish you every happiness for 2024. I am out in the woods today because last night there was a massive storm, huge storm, and I'm out here to check it's okay and make sure there's no casualties. So I'm down the healing trail, and I can always count on this place to give me cushy soil that's dry, unlike the rest of the woods. And there's something magical about the fir trees here. They just absorb all the moisture, all the water, and it's such a cushy fir needle bed. So when I'm walking down it, it feels like I'm walking on air, on less gravity, and that's what makes this place so magical, unlike the rest of the woods at the moment, because that is a boggy, muddy mess. So I know I can always count on this place for dryness. Also, I'm down here because it's such a beautiful morning. Oh my goodness, the sun is out, and I'm really hoping we can get some magical sun rays. So that is the beauty of winter, the sun and the lowness in the sky, and it casts these magical fairy rays, is what I call them. And because it's January now and December has passed, have I changed? No. I am staying the same person. I haven't got any New Year's resolutions, apart from maybe just to be kinder to myself and just to make sure that my intention is doing things for me and my ultimate happiness, instead of maybe doing things to spite other people, the intention's in the wrong place, because no happiness can come from that ever. I always want to make sure that things are done for me. And that's the question I ask myself sometimes when I do things. I think, is this going to make me happy? So last night is when I started this video, and I did something that made me so happy, because in winter I love to sit in my cozy nook, which is by my back door. I love to look at the woods, I love to look at the birds and feed the birds, but also I really want to just be more serious with my work this year. So this is my work. Take it more seriously, as in like have a place for that so I can work there. So I started to do things like that, and again my goal was, is this going to make me happy? Yes, it was. What's my intention here? To make me happy. So when it was pouring with rain last night, I decided to get started on that. Can you hear the rain? It's been raining for about 8 hours non-stop, and I love days like this because I can't go anywhere. I'm safe and sound inside, and I can do anything I want to do. And this is what hibernation mode means to me. Just being in here, and it's so still and so quiet, and all you can hear is the rain. I have decided that my bureau will be my new Alwyn Oak workspace when I answer emails, where I do my editing. It is across from me now. I moved it here because I liked looking out the window and I liked having just a nook in my house where I could just sit down and know I'm in the mindset of work. I don't know if anyone else here is self-employed, but it is hard, and I will admit that. It's very difficult to do the adult side of things. So I'm hoping that this space will bring me the motivation that I need to sit down and come here and just work me socks off. And because this place in the Cosy Nook is already some sort of a library, I thought it'd be really fun if I moved my 2 other bookcases to the other wall by my bureau. So I'm really excited to see what all my books look like together, and I've gathered some things that I really love that bring me inspiration and simple moments of happiness when I look at them. But also I need to do some things. I need to do things that I've been putting off, things like putting photos in frames, so enchanted ones. Let us do what we do best: rearrange some things. I was determined to create a beautiful space to hibernate and work in, one that had lots of personality, but also one that was functional and helped me to do the simple magical things I love, as my practice and motivation can easily fall apart in January when I go back to mortal life. It all fits. Lovely, beautiful. So now let's decorate it with some whimsical, beautiful, inspiring objects. This was my sister's bouquet at her wedding and she didn't want it back, which is great for me because now I've got this one, which is hers, and this bouquet, which was my bridesmaid bouquet. So now I've got 2, and I love dried flowers so much. Everyone needs a little box full of little books that they can write little notes on about mundane things. Most importantly, my book that I plan my videos in, and I've even got a list of what I'm doing in this video right now, so I think I might even leave it on display so I can see it. In sight and in mind, that's what I like to say. I also know what I'm like, and that is obsessive. I can start a project and then not have a break for hours. So every half an hour I made an alarm to remind myself to make a cup of tea. And at the moment I am enjoying a simple yet wonderful tea, orange and honey, to boost my immune system that's always a little fragile this time of year. Next, it was time to sort out and place some magical books that I want to read and learn about this winter. Next space in here, please. Okay, I have just brought all my books down and now I'm going to put them back into my bookshelf in a more of an organised way. But I thought I'd share with you some of the books that I'm going to be reading this winter, because I love to acquire new knowledge in January and February, where I'll be inside more and reading more. And there are a couple of books that I have been reading, and one of them is the Astrology Magic book, and this is by Lindsay Squire, and it's just something that I really wanted to gain knowledge on this half of the year. Along with that, I have got this new book, and it is Runes Made Easy. I know some things about runes, but I want to get to the point. This is eventually in the future where I can just see a shape and think, aha, this is what that means. And I want to do more rune readings, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my runes next to it every day so I can see them on there and think, oh, let's do that. If something's not in my eye line, I will not think about it ever. So that's something that I'm going to invest more time into. Along with that, I've got Stargazing 2024 by Nigel Henbust to look at the night sky. I've got this book, which I got in Glastonbury. Oh, such a good book, full of an amazing knowledge of the winter solstice and just winter in general. It's called The Shortest Day, The Little Book of the Winter Solstice by Karen Cater. There is something so mysterious and foggy about winter that it makes me want to read Scottish folk tales. I got this book last year when I went to Scotland, so I really want to start reading some of them because they're quite short anyway. It'd be a perfect bedtime story or something in the morning that I can just read whilst watching the birds. Book of the Moon. I love this book, I've mentioned it before, but this is something that I always turn to for factual knowledge on the moon, especially when I'm going to do my astrology reading too. Tristan Gooley's The Walker's Guide to Outdoor Signs and Clues. So this book is full of amazing knowledge on what you can do on walks, especially in winter. Things like looking for paw prints, tracking trails, looking in the sky at the clouds and what different cloud formations mean, and looking at fir trees. And there's loads of knowledge for all different times of the year. So this is going to serve me well, give me some great ideas on my walks. This is one I've mentioned before, The Magpie and the Wardrobe. This is a great book because it tells you different things to do around different times of year and what's best to do with which energy and things like that. So I'm going to turn to this if I want some inspiration on something new that I can maybe take up. Winter Tales. I actually read a tale from this to you guys a couple of years ago in a video and I loved doing it. It's got such cute tales. They're childlike tales, childlike winter tales, and those are the best. They're just full of meaning. A couple more books. Art Magic. In winter, I would rather be doing art and creative stuff all winter long, which may seem controversial, I'm not sure. For me, the opposite of my creativity is anxiety, and my brain loves to make up creative, anxious scenarios. So why would I waste my time with those scenarios when I can invest my time in creative art magic? So this is a book I'm going to turn to for inspiration this winter. And my new book from my lovely friend Laura. Oh my goodness, this book is amazing and there's no words to say about it, and I'm going to show you at the end of the video some of the pages, but thank you so much. So let's put everything in the shelves.
One thing I love to do is to turn the most mundane objects into the most magical, creative, aesthetically pleasing moments. And this bookshelf was going to be a work of art, strategically placing things that I want to use in my eye line in a beautiful, inviting way. Otherwise, I know they'll be forgotten about. They say that a bookshelf is a depiction of one's true soul, and even if some books are left unread, it doesn't matter, for the book is a representation of what you want your authentic life to be like. And sometimes just looking at these titles is enough to inspire me. Of course, I always get distracted and spend hours, and in this case, days, rearranging. I found these leaves that I had pressed from trees within the woods in summer, and I love looking at them from time to time in the winter, as I almost forget what it's like to have leaves on the trees. I love a bookmark, but a leaf is always a lovely reminder of this. Overall, I loved this evening so much, and I really appreciate how mindful and cleansed it made me feel. I wanted every object to have its own home instead of piling it up in a random drawer, and it really felt like a declutter of my mind as well as my home. But I still had a few more things to do before I could rest and hibernate here.
But you have to do it. My favourite book of all, though, has to be this one. Do you like it? The last thing I did was get rid of my old chair that's a little worn out now, as I have been a naughty little fairy. And something very exciting was arriving tomorrow. And tomorrow is this moment right now as I sit here within the woods. And it was time for the sun's rays to shine through the forest. Each day within the woods, when the sun is out, the sun refracts within the fir trees and creates beautiful floods of light within, making a backdrop of light, these beautiful fairy rays, making it feel like a haven, like I'm an elf in Rivendell, my very own magic. So I stayed here and watched. And there's no feeling or moment in my life that I can compare this moment to right here, being within the trees with the fairy rays. It is heaven. The sun is always there to inspire during winter, and each year I find new things in the woods that cool me during winter. And I am forever inspired by the evergreens, but this year I was cooled by an unlikely character. I love the ferns this time of year because they fall over in a way that creates like little homes underneath. So if I was a fairy, I think I'd probably hibernate underneath this fern because you're so protected and nobody wants to walk inside it, of course. The sun is shining on them beautifully, so there must be lots of warmth inside of them. Also, I love the hue of these ferns, and when the sun shines through them, oh my goodness, they are like yellow, almost yellowy. It's beautiful, and they mimic the sun, like fire. Don't you think they look like fire? They're always this hue in January. One thing I really want to do this winter is to acquire more knowledge on fir and pine trees, because I don't really have much. I just call them fir trees or pine trees, and I'm going to find out what this one's called today so I can take it home and make a little winter's bowl in the nook. Could be. Ah, yes. So it's a spruce, a Norwegian spruce tree. That's what this one is, Norwegian spruce. It's like it's wearing a warm jumper. I love this fur. Oh, it feels so good. You're coming with me. Another one. God, this is difficult. They all look the same. No, I'm sure it's a hemlock tree because of the way it's growing. Hang on. Gosh, this is difficult. And now these look the same too. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's a hemlock. Yeah, let's say it's a hemlock, shall we? Got lucky with this one because it actually has a fir cone attached. How cute, tiny. Right, massive needles on this. My goodness, massive needles. Ah, Scots pine. Definitely Scots pine, I think. So I've even found a fir cone too. I also found this dragon-like stick, which I thought would be very good near my workspace, as the dragon symbolises fiery creative energy. It's time to visit my favourite yew tree in the forest that I call the Hiraeth. To get to my special tree, I must first cross the flowing river through the forest of Lunda that hosts some holly trees with red, dewy berries. More fern fairy homes everywhere here. See how they're just tuck under, they curl under. The moss underneath is so vibrant and so green. Past my little mossy frog friend, and then I never get tired of being greeted by her fairy tale-esque grandma presence. Oh, it feels good to be back here. I love it here. I love it. You can hear the stream and the birds, and it's in this little dip, and I kind of feel like the outside world can't come through this, like it's a portal. So I sit here and I feel protected. No one can see me because of the tree trunk. I'm protected by the branches over the top here. And there is a forest of holly in front of me. And when I see holly, I see protection. And it's almost like a wreath of holly, like a circle of holly. And that makes me feel even more protected, if I'm honest. And it is here I love to do my grounding exercises, tensing and releasing different parts of my body so I feel more inside. I had this thought the other day about when I have intrusive thoughts, I think my thoughts are like out here. This is where I am. But when I tense and release different parts of my body, then it brings me back inside myself. So that's what I like to do at the moment. And I'm finding that that exercise really helps, just tensing and releasing. So I sat here, tensing and releasing different parts of my body, all the way from my feet to my knees, to my stomach, my hands, my shoulders and my neck. And eventually I felt grounded and connected to myself. And after a while, the racing thoughts calmed, and I was able to hear the birds, hear the swaying of the trees, and feel the earth beneath my feet. And in moments like this, the world doesn't feel scary at all. But now my ears were getting chilly, so it was time to venture home and finish preparing my burrow for hibernation. And well, my home at the moment is in full winter mode. Most of my Yule decorations are now my winter decorations, because why would I take down things that make me feel like I'm living in a forest? They will be out for as long as they make me happy, because with Imbolc on the way, I always feel like the magic needs to be kept alive in such a dark time. So I'm embracing the fir trees and the twinkling lights, but in a more modest, cleanse way than I did during Yule. Before I could even bring myself, though, to put the kettle on, I had to set up my cosy nook chair.
What is it? What is it? What is it? I think you might like it, Charlie. Woohoo! Oh yeah, beautiful. I did the legs the wrong way round.
I had a few conditions for this chair when ordering it. It needed to have a high back, be classy, of course, and it needed to feel cozy and inviting. So I tested it out, ready for hibernation mode.
Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. Oh, my back is supported. So this was a gift to myself from my Christmas vouchers that I got. And I'm so glad I bought this because I love sitting here, but that old chair was giving me such a backache. This is my new library cozy nook chair. So comfortable. I love the support on my back actually. Really nice.
He's my good boy. You're such a good boy. Do you like this chair? I bet you're going to be on this chair when you come in. Yes.
It was time for a cosy cup of tea, and whilst the kettle was boiling, I decided to get crafty. And I wanted real fur to go alongside my decorations in the form of a winter's fur protection bowl. So I gathered all of the fur I had collected within the woods and placed it within my grandmother's special silver rose bowl, making sure to give each variety its own moment. And because I knew what this fur was and what tree it came from, I felt our relationship was a little more special than it was before. This will be in the corner by the door to cleanse any stale energy. I even had time to make an arrangement with my creativity dragon find, and even a mini silver rose bowl for another corner of the room. And they are so cute and uplifting. The sweet scent of fur really does bring a fresh yet earthy mindset. And I was so close to finishing my nook now.
Okay, so I have only got a couple more things to do left in the cozy nook before everything is complete, because I'm getting really tired and I just want to do my winter crafts in here, but I can't do it until I'm satisfied with it. I need to put some items into the bureau. I need to hang things on the wall, my Alwyn Oak memorabilia and things like that. Let us get on with it.
I got all my wall hangings that I've been meaning to put up for years and just did it, making some frames a little more aesthetically pleasing, as I love gold, not silver. The holly and the oak leaf represent my two sides, but also the holly king and the oak king. And nothing looks enchanted without some clinging ivy. I wanted my new workspace to be practical, but not boring. I did this by putting out minimal items, but items that were very inspiring, like this cute little bowl for charged batteries, and this sweetie plate for used batteries. And also, I cannot have a workspace without ivy to cleanse any negativity, because let's face it, frustration will probably manifest here, if anywhere. I also purposefully didn't place a lamp in my workspace, as I love working in ambience. Overhead lighting gives me a headache, so this way I'll be more drawn to lighting that candle, because when the candle is lit within my lantern, it gives off a lot more heat than you might think. Perfect for a little authentic magic.
I am determined to finish this makeover tonight. And one of the last things that I need to do is fill this picture frame that I've had for ages now with pictures of all the cats that I know, because I think that's going to bring me a small moment of happiness throughout my day. So I love them. I love you so much. You don't even know how much. Lovely old tea bag. Charlie.
Sweet. I love them. I also have one more thing left to place within my workspace. And, what? I cannot believe that this is in my hands. So thank you so much, everyone. It's a dream come true.
Pride of place.
So, I now felt accomplished. I was tired, but now everything had its own special place, and I could finally start my hibernation.
Such a dark day.
I woke up mid-morning today, and it was grey and dark outside. And the first thing I did was turn on the fairy lights. Charlie's got so much energy where he is in hibernation mode too.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
So it's my duty to keep him moving.
Oh my word. Do you want your brekkie? Your brekkie?
I then made a lovely cup of Lady Grey and looked out the window.
Matey, it's snowing. Loads. Oh my gosh. It's snowing. I need to get out there.
The birds were surely very hungry this morning and cold too, so I topped up the bird feeders to keep them fed and happy. And I also tried to eat some snow, but no luck. So I went inside and waited for the animals of the woods to see that the food was there.
It is cold out there, Charlie, and I think you'll like it. It's best that we keep nice and warm today, hey? Cozy! Cozies. I think the first person to usually come is the squirrels, and then the robin, and then the pigeons. Come scare everyone away.
The birds in the garden are so active in winter, and there is always some sort of brambly hedge territorial squabble going on, and I love watching the drama unfold. I also love watching the little robin that lives in the bush that I named Bobbin. He courts this time of year with a female, and they ponder the bird bath together. Also, the cheeky squirrel, Squidge, is always there, ready to eat everything. Sometimes on rare occasions at the moment, a group of 6 long-tailed tits come and eat together. So there is always something of interest to keep me watching. Like I said before, this winter, instead of pulling an oracle card every day, I'm going to pull a rune out of my bag. Runes are so versatile. You can use them for past, present, and future readings. I like to stick to the present, and this winter I'll be drawing 1 rune per day and learning about what that means for me and my intention during that day. I pulled the I rune, pronounced Isa, meaning ice, which I thought was very fitting for hibernation mode. The book's interpretation of this rune was just beautiful. It told me that ice represents the ultimate stillness, a blanket of frozen immobility which seals the land, restricts travel, and covers all that is life-giving and fertile. Yet under its beautiful and concealing silence, the rich earth below is nurtured and prepared for new energy and life. Ice shows stillness of contemplation and a preparation for new life, new hope and rebirth. Without ice and winter to moisten the fields, the farming and harvest would be impossible. While the pace of forward movement may seem slow and inhibited at this time, the seeds of rebirth are active beneath the surface, and the outward appearance of purity and stillness mask an explosion of fertility which lies ready in wait. It told me that all things will come in good time, and for now Isa reminds us that we must wait. The long winter is upon us now, but the cycle of seasons moves forever forward. Also, a path of reflection and meditation, inner calmness, must be maintained at this time in order for deeper reflection to occur. I'm always in awe of how runes and oracle decks are always so perfectly accurate. That's how you know you are connected energetically. So I set a new intention today with this rune and was just going to go with the flow and not do anything, well, nuts, like what I've been doing for the past few days. And just like that, the sun came out and I followed my inner child there. It was late morning at this point, and the Healing Trail's rays were unbelievably beautiful. But the other day, the sun went out before I ventured to the Haraith, and I just yearned to see her highlighted by the sun, and I really wanted to show you. Her grandma energy is always welcomed in any weather. But this sight right here, it's hard to believe that this is just a coincidence within nature. This right here is what fairy tales are made of. So I sat here and pondered and just was. I also had a dream last night about the mossy den. I don't know why, but this often happens, and then the next day I go to the place and something magical is always there. So of course I went there, and this is what I saw. Heaven. After my revitalising walk, it was time to begin a little bit of work, if you'd call it that, in my new workspace. But the problem was, I didn't want to do any work. I just wanted to stare at my accomplishment. Hello, my girlies. How are you? Doing good? I'm going to start my day by checking my messages. I'm going to start editing this video, but first of all I need to make sense of it all logically in my head, because what I usually do is pick up the camera and just film, which is a good thing, but now I need to logically put it together in a way that's more me and fun and wintry. And I feel very cosy, I'm not gonna lie, very cosy indeed. Something about seeing the reflection of trees in my laptop that makes me so happy. I don't even care if I can't see the screen. This is amazing. Hello Enchanted ones, and welcome back. Hello Enchanted ones, and welcome back. Today join me as I prepare my cosy nook for winter, like a mole building its burrow. The weather was bizarre today though. It first snowed, then the sun came out, it covered over, and now, just as it was golden hour, the sun came out again, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to go and see the winter's golden sun, but also this fairy needed a screen break. The sun had set for the Heraith at this point, but I just couldn't help but say hello to her again. And I even went back to the mossy den where I was in my dream last night, and I saw the perfect fairy rays. When the sun was out of sight, I ventured home to finish my little work day, which to be honest, could have been better. I lit my lantern when it got dark, and its warmth radiated on my face as I wrote down some important events in my calendar this year, like people's birthdays, days I had free to do cozy winter days like this one, and Sabbats, etc. But once the sun had set, I needed to do something very important. Something that I like to do every winter. Watch the Lord of the Rings extended editions. You probably know by now that I love immersing myself into a world of fantasy, whether that be through films, books, daydreams, creating art and videos, computer games, and just love losing my mind in a different world. But contrary to this, I also love to get into the woods and get grounded, and to put my feet into the river and make the most of nature's energies. So a little up in the air and down into the earth. But that's just me, and I'm embracing that this year.
Things are made to endure, child.
So when I'm feeling like I need to get with it again after a 15-hour movie marathon, or when my creativity is turning bad into anxiety, I love to do puzzles where I can use my logic and problem-solving skills. And this little game of solitaire has served me well over the past 5 years. It's such a simple game, but trust me, something shifts in my brain. And what is created is a lovely, mindful time.
I don't know why. It makes me sad. The wilds. What is breathing as I've never heard. Round here. Strider.
But enough of that. I don't want to be grounded right now. It was time to fully immerse myself into the world of Tolkien. It was my last port of call in the Cosy Nook, and it was such a treat. It was snowing again, and it was beginning to lay.
It's been snowing for hours, and it's actually now started to set, which is very good. This is what I love so much, this sprinkling of snow on everything. It just transforms it and lights everything up. I love winter, don't get me wrong, in the UK, but in the south we really could do with more snow. And the way it settles on the tree, the way it settles on the fairy house. I just want a snow day tomorrow so I can go running through the woods, but I doubt that will happen. Such a great view that I have too, so I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
So I told you, darlings, that during winter I really wanted to learn more about horoscopes, astrology, and to be able to read a birth chart, because by understanding how the planets were aligned when we were born can really help us to uncover our traits and who and how we are in life.
If Aquarians don't have a mission to radically reverse something that is tried and trusted, they become bored or frustrated. That's very true. That sums me up in a nutshell.
It was overwhelming at first though, as it seemed like I needed to know all about this information about birth charts, houses, signs, planets. But no, I think delving into any subject is overwhelming at first, but it's important to take it slow. So I started by bullet pointing, looking at a brief description of everything, and now each session I'm looking at either a different house or a different sign, and it's really satisfying. It's like solving a mystery of the stars, but also of myself and others. Like the puzzle is being solved, but also I'm seeing my supposed bad qualities now as good qualities. I'm seeing myself in a different light, and now have new respect for my personality. I had 5 planets in Aquarius when I was born, and my moon sign is in Gemini. These are all air signs, so my whole creative, airy-fairy personality makes a lot of sense now, as my creativity was written in the stars when I was born. Also, learning about your moon sign may help to uncover mysteries of your emotions. I've learnt some useful techniques on how to place my energy in the right places, so all the things I have been doing in this video, like the tense and releasing exercise, the logic puzzles and the learning, are all helping to ground me to get in touch with the left side of my brain, finding balance. So if you want to learn more about your personality, but also seek help for what you may enjoy in life, I highly recommend looking into your birth chart, taking the learning day by day and sticking with the confusion. I've got a long way to go, but it's so worth it. And after a little learning, of course, I am rewarded with a bedtime story.
Every page in this book is a work of art. And since reading it, I am convinced that I have fairies living in my home. These fairies are called brownies, and they are very mischievous and hide things. A constant battle I have around the house. But who knows, that might just be my airy fairy nature. This is where I usually see fairies in the woods, hidden within trees, camouflaging themselves. This is a beautiful picture. Now I believe that last year I was called by this fairy down the healing trail, and the holly fairy loves heather, and I saw it there and it was so beautiful. All fairies and elves have pointed ears, of course. They also have bird-like bones, which are different from human bones because they're softer and they're more hollow in appearance to help them fly. This page is where things start to get really interesting when I was reading it, and so amazing. This wing here is the wing of the birch fairy, and I don't know if you remember, but in a video of mine I had a wing fall onto my hand and I actually put it into a bottle. So this and the birch fairy wing are identical in appearance. Before I was gifted this wing, I was amongst the silver birches in the woods. What I love so much about this book is it's like someone's telling the tales that I've experienced through their experiences and written them in a book. Because now there's so many things I've experienced. I think, oh my gosh, this lady has seen those things too. Oh my gosh, that was that was this. It makes me really excited for spring. It makes me really grateful. And I just love it. I feel like I'm uncovering a mystery, uncovering something, a secret to life. Yeah, it's really exciting. So anyway, that is my new favourite book, my new bedtime book that I'm reading, and it's so fun, along with of course doing the astrology things. But yes, this is where I'm going to exist all winter long. Being with my back against this chair feels exactly the same, give or take, as when I had my back to my favourite tree, the Haraith. It feels so grounding and it feels strong. And looking out that window, there's just so many stories that play out in front of me with the birds and the animals. So enchanted ones, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. All my love, Alwyn.